Hi, this is Bobby, the Swedish boomer cowboy. Today I will show you a rust coat knife collection owned by one of the most legendary CSGO players of all time. Of course I'm talking about the Swedish CSGO player Patrik Lindberg, also known as f0rest. And for new viewers I highly recommend hitting the subscribe button to not miss any of my future videos. f0rest used many different knives during his early CSGO career, and I know from clips that he, for example, used a karambit fade and a butterfly fade early in 2015. But then later in 2015 his love for the rust coat knife started for real, and that all makes sense to me since he really doesn't have anything to prove. He doesn't need shiny skins because he's the best player, and just watching him doing magic playing CS is good enough for all of us.
I know people have been wondering for a long time is why do I love rust coat so much? There's something about their imperfections that I like. They are not, they don't have that awesome shiny looking outside where everything is good and perfect down to the smallest of details. They are knives that have seen stuff. They've been through stuff, just like me. I've been through stuff as well. And I think they represent me as an individual pretty damn good.
In November 2015 is the first time I know for sure that he started using the rust coat knives, and the first one I have proof of him using in-game is his battle-scarred bayonet rust coat. And I will come back to this knife later, but let's start by looking at all the rust coat knives f0rest has in his inventory today. A gut knife with 0.501 float, a butterfly knife with 0.4512 float, a Bowie knife with 0.5179 float, a Ursus knife with 0.5176 float, a Stiletto knife with 0.6683 float, a Navaja knife with 0.588 float, a Talon knife with 0.6357 float, a pair of Shadow daggers with 0.933 float, a flip knife with 0.5406 float, a falchion knife with 0.604 float, and finally a huntsman knife with 0.6177 float. And if you know your knife skins, you might have noticed that 3 rust coat knives are missing to make his collection complete with all rust coats in existence. Firstly, I miss a M9 bayonet, but I don't know for sure that f0rest actually ever owned one. Then the second one I miss is his karambit that he used to own, and it shows that just days before I decided to do this video in September 2022 he actually gave away the karambit knife to this guy with the Steam name Fizzy. And you can also see that he named it Much Love / f0rest. Then the third knife missing is the rust coat bayonet I talked about in the beginning of the video, and this seems to have been his favorite knife for a long time.
We're gonna start with my knife and gloves, and as you already can see I'm using a bayonet rust coat edition. I like the bayonet really because it has good, when you swap to the knife it's a nice transition how it flips. And I also like rust coat because it's one of the lower tier skins you can have. Not a lot of people use it. People tend to go for some higher end knives to, I don't know, showcase their money. I don't really know. But I like the rust coat. It's unique. So that's enough about the knife.
So, why is this knife no longer in f0rest inventory? Well, it's actually because I own it today, and it's interesting how I got it in my hands. In December 2021 I had the luck to buy it on a charity auction that was held at the oldest auction house in my hometown of Stockholm. Yes, you heard it right. This is not mainly a digital auction, but a physical old-fashioned auction at a place called Stockholms Auktionshus. And I was in the auction house bidding on this and other CSGO items and managed to buy the bayonet. In total I paid a bit over 600 USD for it, which I feel was a good price for such an iconic item, and it's always nice to contribute to charity. Some other interesting items also sold, including the Olofmeister AWP Boostmeister, but that story I will save for another separate video. If you have watched some of my other videos, you know I love when pro players give their skins unique names, and this was the one thing missing for the bayonet I bought. I've seen that f0rest never give his knife's name, but I wanted a name tag on this one, so I came up with the idea trying to reach out to f0rest on Twitter to ask him to name the knife. And thanks to my Twitter followers who helped me retweet and comment to get f0rest's attention, he finally replied actually, but not with the answer I expected. He just wrote, "Let me think," leaving me hanging without knowing if he meant that as his actual suggestion for a name tag, or if he actually wanted more time to think about it. But after waiting for 24 hours, he never got back with another suggestion, so I just presume "Let me think" is the name he wanted for the knife, and this is the name tag I now have applied. And actually it makes a lot of sense, since he didn't name any of his other knives, so he's probably still thinking about names for all of them, but never can decide. So a big shout out to f0rest the GOAT for being such a wholesome guy and helping me out and making this knife even more special to me. This skin will stay in my inventory forever, and it gives me shivers down my spine to think about all the exciting games you have been using it in. And thanks f0rest for all those exciting gaming moments you have given me during all these years, and I'm looking forward seeing more in the future. And that's all for now, and I hope you enjoyed watching this episode of Legendary Pro Skins, and I hope to soon be back with more episodes. Please don't forget to like, comment and to subscribe to not miss my next video. Take care, cowboys!